Former police corporal Donovan Gardner has lost his bid to have his manslaughter conviction overturned. Supreme Court Judge Vera Watkins handed down the ruling today. A jury convicted Gardner back on March 2nd of the manslaughter death of 28-year-old Desmond Key. Following the conviction, Gardner's attorney immediately filed a constitutional motion seeking bail, but that motion was denied. The court also asked that the court quash the jury's verdict, among other things, claiming Gardner did not receive a fair trial. However, in her written judgment, Justice Watkins denied the relief Gardner was seeking, noting that the former police corporal failed to seek redress at the appropriate time. She said had that taken place, the court would have been able to invoke the relevant provisions in the Juries Act and discharge the jury if necessary. Meantime, Gardner remains behind bars. He'll be sentenced on June 5th. The Public Managers Union was in meetings all day Monday with executives of the National Insurance Board in relation to a sensitive matter allegedly involving an NIB manager, his wife, and senior NIB executive. That meeting, however, resulted in the manager being suspended after requesting union representation. Union attorney is Obie Ferguson.
The cause for suspension is not a trade, it's not a dispute. Domestic matters are not resolved by unions. That's not the role of a union. And if a union member who may be involved in a domestic matter refer to the union, the referral of that matter to the union is not a trade dispute. For the employer to terminate a worker or to suspend a worker, there must be a trade dispute within the ambit of this industrial agreement.
Now, Ferguson claims that the executive at NIB are going about this matter in the wrong way. Meanwhile, Union President Winston Moss says this matter has dragged on from January of this year with no resolution in sight.
We're just hoping that management sees the wisdom in sitting down and saying, okay, this is the way we will deal with this so this can go away. Because it's not going to go away if we can't come to a reasonable conclusion. And it's a private matter. They need to deal with it. That's the main issue here. We reinstate, understand that this is private. Whatever you've taken away from this man, the young man as a relation to employment, we're asking that you reimburse him, reinstate him. Because he was asked to take vacation, he was asked to take unpaid leave just to try and resolve this personal issue. And he is, in fact, attempting to do that.
Now, the Trade Union Congress president has appealed to NIB to keep this matter confidential. Now, our ZNS News team spoke with spokesperson for NIB, Eunice King, who confirmed that the manager was suspended based on allegations he made. The board, she said, has launched an investigation into those allegations, and both parties are having the matter dealt with through their attorneys. Well, if you didn't know any better, you would think that the advanced polling for the election was held in the Prince Charles Drive area today around 10:30 in the morning. Scores of cars trailed each other to the frustration of many drivers as traffic was backed up on Prince Charles Drive between Soldier Road and Seabreeze Lane. This overhead view from a building in the Prince Charles Shopping Center provides a bird's eye view of the long line of cars traveling east to west. And just what was responsible for the congestion? The ongoing road works along that corridor and large puddles of water dumped as a result of a frontal system which has lingered over the capital for the past few days. If you thought taking a side street to Prince Charles may have been a solution, well, no such luck. Even the side streets seem to be congested. At a time when the world is still recovering from the global economic downturn, banks, especially those in the Caribbean, are still holding tight on funding for projects. But according to stakeholders, Antigua's Eastern Caribbean Cancer Clinic, spearheaded by Bahamian Dr. Conville Brown, was an attractive venture. Our Janaea Noel Ferguson has more.
The Eastern Caribbean Center will take shape in just 5 months at the foot of Mount Michael in St. John's, Antigua. General Manager of the East Caribbean Amalgamated Bank, Henry Hazel, believes in the viability of this $6 million investment.
This initiative like this is absolutely important. I think it's going to take off. especially when we're looking at the scope of the client base that we're going to be looking at, Antigua and Barbuda and the wider Eastern Caribbean. There's a lot of feasibility to this.
The bank's senior manager, Alicia Gardner, anticipates the job this new project will provide.
It will create jobs for our local contractors in terms of building the center itself, work for the persons who will be employed at the center, and also just the wider Caribbean coming to us.
Cancer Center is the dream of Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister, the Honorable Baldwin Spencer, who called upon Dr. Conville Brown to make this dream a reality.
Investment figure for this unit here is going to work out to about $6.5 million, which is exactly half of what it would have cost, what it cost us to do it in Nassau in 2002, 10 years ago. One of the key things is that the government here has been extremely inviting, very cooperative, and setting up an environment that's very conducive to making such an investment. So we do not pay any import tax, any import duties on the equipment, and for every capital investment that we do subsequently, we've been assured that we will not have to pay duty on them.
Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Welcome to tonight's edition of the Business Beat, sponsored by Royal Fidelity. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Let's take a look at what's making business news today.
Chevron concluded the sale of its fuels marketing and aviation businesses in the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and Turks and Caicos to Vito Gas, a wholly owned subsidiary of Rubis. Rubis specializes in the storage and distribution of petroleum products. Now, the sale of the businesses in these three markets includes a network of 39 retail stations, 8 aviation facilities, 6 fuels terminals, 1 joint operation at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport Terminal, and a commercial and industrial fuels business. The last of 12 Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources Family Island Agribusiness Expos took place in Marsh Harbor, Abaco last weekend. The initiative seeks to bring awareness to the importance of agriculture and fisheries and to increase meaningful participation to consumers and producers. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Larry Cartwright hailed Abaco a major force in agriculture and fisheries, which has set a high standard. From international business, oil giant British Petroleum has reported a slip in first quarter profits. It made $4.9 billion in replacement cost profit for the first 3 months of this year, compared with $5.6 billion a year ago. BP is shrinking in size after being forced to sell fields after the 2010 oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Remember, you can send us an email or join us on www.znsbahamas.com or become our friend on ZNS's official Facebook page.
And that will end tonight's edition of the Business Beat, sponsored by Royal Fidelity. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Thanks so much for watching.